All right. To make sure I have this up. All right, need to look for something while I'm waiting on you all. Okay, so I put it up. So don't know what I did with it. Okay. All right, let me. I don't know what is that. I don't want to start a poll. Um, Share this out real quick and reconnecting. All right, hello to person number one. I was trying to pull the pattern. I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, I'm here tonight, and I'm going to stop saying how long I'm going to be here because I'm usually here longer than what I said. But I just thought I'd come out and hang out for a little bit while I work on my tote, finish that up. I did a poll earlier asking, should I add the tab to this bag or should I leave it? Um, or should I leave it? And the consensus said add the tab. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the tab. I'm going to add the tab. Then I'm going to add the snaps. So I've got snaps for the sides of the bag. Thank you for the hearts. And then I've got the magnetic snap. There's a cluster of those. I just need one for the tab. And then I am hoping to go ahead and add the snaps to my dress because I finally got the snap gun. I had to. Oh, shoot. I don't know where that came from. Oh, I know what I did. I forget that there's a little metal device that holds the pliers together. So what I did was, yeah, it keeps the pliers from just being all loose and willy-nilly. So when I squeezed it, it just went everywhere. All right, I'm gonna put that back. Anyway, I can't see anybody. Um, Let me see. Sorry, I did that myself. Um, okay, hi. Is it Shahadra? Thank you for watching. All right. So, but anyway, uh, I've been working all day doing alterations. Tiptoe through the tulips. Well, hello there. I like that. Tiptoe through the tulips. All right, so I'm just about done with this bag. I don't know if any of you are familiar with me doing this bag, but just to kind of briefly catch up a little bit, I took part in the Make Nine challenge, uh, hosted by Rochelle, Handmade by Designs, and she has a huge YouTube channel here, so you can go follow her by the same name, Rochelle, Handmade by Design. So she prompted this Make Nine challenge, which is pretty much a goal setting challenge. So we make our goals, a list of things that we want to do. We're asked to do nine, and then we have timelines to establish our projects and to get them done. And so this is one of my projects. And so, do you believe that the current Federal Reserve conservatives? You know what? This is all about sewing. This is all about sewing. So, but anyway, this is one of my Make Nine goals. One of my Make Nine goals was to make me a designer tote bag. So that is what I did. And it was just kind of prompted by our last So Much Talent challenge. February's challenge was to sew anything Ankara, anything African print, for the love of Ankara, since it was Black History Month. And if you didn't want to do Black History Month, then of course um, you could sew red for National Heart Health Month. I do sew dresses. As a matter of fact, one of the dress that I want to add the snaps to, or what I want to add the snaps to tonight, is a dress. Uh, and I was trying to pull the pattern. I don't know what I did with the pattern for it, but I want to say it's McCall's. I'm sorry, Simplicity 6884. I believe is what it is. It's a Mimi G pat. It's not a yeah. What's Mimi G style pattern? Um, so I don't know. I probably need to remove him for user and timeout for 24 hours. Okay. Well, I learned something new, didn't I? Because what we're not going to do, this is all about sewing, not about politics or anything like that. So I'm not going to answer any questions about politics or anything. I'm not going to answer any of that. I'm here to sew. I'm here to share my love of sewing. And anything else, if I choose to share it, talk about it, I will. All right. But yeah, so this it's like a t-shirt dress, and I am going to add snaps to it. Thank you. I really wish I could show you the picture. Well, actually, if you go back to some of my previous live videos, you'll see a picture of it. Um, but yeah, so there's going to be some gold snaps here. So I don't know if you can see that. There'll be some here, and then there are some snaps on the side leg here. So I finally got my gun, my snap pliers to add them. So I'm going to do that too. But what I really want to focus on is finishing up this bag. So thank you, Shahadra, for saying so. Appreciate you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add the tab. Go ahead and create it. But what I want to do, I kind of folded it so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and make me a little, what did I do with my scissors? Hang on. It's a pretty sturdy fabric, so I'm going to use all of what's here. This is a 4 layers of, looks like canvas, or like a lightweight canvas fabric, almost a denim feel. So I'm just going to use that, and it's going to serve as its own interfacing because it's thick enough. So only thing I need to do is just cut off, shape my point. So I don't know if you can see it. All right. So that's basically what it's going to look like. And it won't be as wide. Well, actually, I didn't do that right. Nope, I didn't. I'll cut that off and start all over again. Because I want it to be 4 layers of thickness. So what I should have done was folded this again. Always trying to cut in the air. Okay, so I folded it again because it's going to end up being 4 layers of thickness. And so There we go. So that's actually what I want. All right. And so I actually have the one side trying to debate. Do I want to have one side? You know what? It doesn't matter because it's my bag, right? So one side is going to have the seam, and one side I'll leave it cut on the fold. So I'm just going to go ahead and I don't need all of this. So I'm just going to determine how much that I want. How much that I want it to fold over. I want it to fold over too much, so I think I'm just going to leave it, um, cut it off about here. So this is the only piece that I did not do a pattern for. So, and I'm just going to go ahead and render the pattern right now. So I did do a pattern for the other pieces, and I'll show you that in just a second. All right, so before I actually cut this off, I'm just going to go ahead and add this in as a pattern piece. On the next one I do, it will not be a, it will not be, actually let me get a separate piece. Hang on, because I don't want to cut, those are already pre-cut pieces. All right. So I want to have all my pattern pieces, so if I want to make this again, I can. And this is without the seam allowance, so it's all good. So I'll just make a note here that this is the tab, and there is probably just a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and I can clean this up a little bit later. And there'll probably be 1/4 of an inch seam allowance here. Might be even more, maybe a 1/2 an inch seam allowance. 1/2 an inch seam allowance. This is an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance here. This is the tab, and I'm going to add cut 2 of fabric and cut 2 of interfacing. All right, and then I'm going to make a little dot there for the placement of the snap. All right, now I need, well, I won't worry about cutting it out now. I'll cut it out a little bit later. But anyway, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces to this bag. There's the body of the bag. There's the side of the bag. There's the flap of the bag, and I may shorten that. There's the bag handle tabs, and then there's the tab itself that I'm just now adding in. All right. So let me go ahead and I'm going to change my thread so I can get started. I pray everybody's having a good night. Great night tonight. Can't wait to get this bag finished. Today I spent the majority of my day altering a wedding gown, which is being worn as a cotillion gown. Um, I've got to do better at taking like step-by-step pictures so I can post those and share those um, as well. But on that particular gown, of course, since it was a cotillion gown, there's no train, so I had to cut the train off. I had to add a lace-up corset back panel to it, lace ties and a panel and loops because it was just a little bit small for the wearer. And then I had to add cap sleeves to it. All right, so I'm bringing you here a little bit closer. I thought I could bring that closer, but no. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. It's the same on both sides, so since it's in double thickness, I'm just going to just stitch it around. I'm going to stitch it with a tiny stitch, probably a 2.25. And I should have doubled the thread on here, but I didn't. Okay, I need to do it maybe one more time. Come on. I should have did that way as well. That way I have the same. I don't know what I did with my little snips. I wonder if I should have rounded that off. Let me try this. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and stitch that up on that side. Okay. All right. Now it might give me a little bit of time getting around here. Definitely going to have to clip. Get rid of some of this excess fabric. That a little bit so I can get around. Make sure I fold it good. Now this is going to be a little tough getting this inside out. So what I am going to do is use one of my favorite tools, and that is my old handy dandy comb thread holder. I like it because it has this flat end right here, and so I can just press it up against me and turn it. Now when I cut my finger, all right, so I can get a good grip. don't know if I like that tab being that small. I think I want it wider. Yep, I don't like that. I'm going to keep it this width. And I am going to, yeah, I definitely didn't like that. Mm-mm. That came out too skinny. So I have to do me another pattern. And this time I'm going to kind of round this like that. Okay. So by the time I do this, it'll be the width that I need it to be. Okay. Now at this point, I'm not going to worry about the stabilization. Or should I? It's not going to be as sturdy as I want it to be. I'll be right back. Got my little black. A bit of stabilizer here, so I'll use this. Might as well go ahead. If I'm going to do it, just go ahead and do it, right? Throw that back out the way. I'm going to give this a quick press, stabilizer press. It gives it a little bit of extra durability, especially since I'm going to be using that snap. Now, let me just say, I'm not a bag pro, okay? This is something that I want to do for me. I'm no bag maker, so if there's a bag maker on here and there's like, what in the world are you doing? Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm just going to interface this in real quick on both sides. Give it some extra strength. All right, that didn't take long. All right. Now I have the opportunity to actually add another spool of black thread on here. So I can double up my stitches. So whenever I don't have the thick thread, or like an upholstery thread or more durable thread for bags like this, I'll just double up on my thread. Actually, let me just do that again. Mm-mm. That one going there. There we go. Actually, using a size 14 needle, I really don't need to use a bigger needle than this right now. Cut that. Actually, try to cut that at an angle. See if I can get that thread in there. There we go. All right. Let's see. Do I want it quite that wide? I don't know. Don't know if I want it quite that wide either. Cut some of this back here. Yeah, I'm thinking this as I go. Well, the tab part. The tab is in addition to what I already had planned. I think this is good. Okay, I think that'll work. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I'm going to use the pinking shears. Okay. Pinking shears need to be sharpened. Since they already have like grooves and ridges cut out as if you were snipping the curves, just use that and get around the curves. Yeah, they definitely need to be sharpened. All right, now let's get that back turned over. Use this yet again. Turn that inside out. Okay, I'm going to use this to smooth out that edge. Round out those corners. And go ahead and give it a press. Give it one more time to smooth that around. Kind of give it a little finger press there. Okay, yep. That's exactly the tab that I wanted. All right, let me give it a good press. I'm just going to edge stitch this around, and I'm going to give it, put it on a 3.30. And let's move around here. All right. Okay, got that in there. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's looking a little dark and a little hazy. All right, so this is the part I couldn't decide if I was going to understitch this or top stitch it. Let me do this. I'll probably end up trimming this off anyway. You know what? I may just open this back up and add this to the inside. And I'm going to change my needle out. I'm scared to get in there with my a little bit out. There we go. That's the top part. Just finger press so I know what the center is. Okay. I'm going to change my needle back because I had a thicker needle earlier. I had a size 18 needle. Well, that was a 16. I think I have an 18 in here. Use an 18 needle because the fabric is super thick, and if I don't use a larger needle, it's going to break my needle. Oh, don't ever do that. This is a brand new needle, so I'm going to set that aside right there. All right. What happens if I get it in the same time? Okay. All right. All right. So I got that in there. And I am going to, I left maybe about a half an inch overhang so that because there's a lot of stress on the strap and you don't want that to come out and come undone. Okay. So now to commence to understitching. That's what I'm going to do. What I should have did was there we go. It's tough getting all this fabric. Did I do it right the first time? Yeah. You know, trying to see which way to do my straps while I sew. Okay, get those out the way. There we go. Fabric is so thick, just making sure I get it all in there. And I'm going to do a 3.5 since it is so thick. Making sure I keep all of the fabric that's supposed to be understitched to the right side. It has a tendency to want to flip over. This is a lot of thick layers. This is almost like a canvas type fabric, and it's got to be at least the thickness of 4 or 5 layers. All right, we're almost at the end, and y'all, I stuffed this with something. That's why it's so, man, I forgot I had it stuffed. So that way I could see what it looked like filled out. That was unnecessary. That was an unnecessary struggle. Okay, almost at the end. No. All right. So that's the understitching. That is the bag interfacing right there. Okay. Oh, you know what? I messed up. I messed up. I'm gonna have to open this up and go back in it because the y'all, why do y'all tell me I messed up? I gotta put the snap piece in there. Lord, 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 Lord. Okay, how do I need to do this? All right, so I know I want the interface. Okay, not my interface. Okay. That snap has got to be right there. All right, so I gotta do it. I gotta open it back up. Doggone it. All right, so there's the male part and there's the female part. Okay. The innie part is the female part and the outie part is the male part. So I need to put the male part on this and the back piece to clamp it in place. So those two go together and all of that goes together. All right, so I have no choice but to open it back up and get in there. I was doing good. That's what happens when you get excited and you move so fast. I wonder if I had my own directions set up, established. Okay, so that should be enough to get in there. All right, so what I need to do, this is where this piece is going to go. Okay, so I've got it centered, and where's my chalk mark? Okay, so I'm marking this as my placement marks. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, the two little lines and the little dot in the middle. All right, so I'm just going to make me a little slash mark with my seam ripper. Okay. enough to be able to get the part down in there. I hate the fact that I had to open it back up again, but oh well. All right. You're not going to be able to see that, so I'm just going to have to open this all the way around so you can see. This is where I need my razor blade. All right. So that's the inside of the facing, inside of the tab. Okay. So I cut my little slits and I've got that slip through. And so now this is going to be the anchor to hold it together so it doesn't come undone. All right, so now that that's in there, so now I just got to press these down. And I'll use my screwdriver, the flat head screwdriver, to flatten that down. Okay. All right. So that's in. All right. And that was in so nice and so neat. And I did buy some pencils, so I can go back over it. All right, so we're just going to park that there for right now. All right. Now this part I'm not so concerned about, the middle. Only thing I just need to decide how far down I want the other snap to rest. Okay. There's going to be 2 more snaps here. One there, one there. Okay. Once that's there, how much do I want this bag to close? Do I want it to close all the way down like that? Do I want to have a little bit of leeway, a little bit of opening? So I think, let's see what that looks like on feet. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe about right here. All right, so didn't think about this part either. There's a lot I didn't think about because I was so excited about getting the bag. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to open it back up. All right, so note to self, before you get happy, make sure you double check, do your checklist and make sure you got everything together before you start stitching everything up. So what I'm doing here is opening this back up, this facing. And I've understitched it, gotten it here. So once I open this back up, then I'm going to open the bag up and place my snap so it'll be between the lining, which is what I want. I don't want it to be shown from the inside. I mean, I could, since it's just the first bag that I've actually it's not the first bag that I've made, but this is the first one that I've actually created myself. So I'm just going to open this here. in there. I will say this word to the wise. The projects will go a lot smoother, planned out, step by step, less mistakes. All right. So now I've got that open and I've got myself down in there. Okay. So I'm going to do what I did with the other one. I'm going to place my little template. It's not a template, but it's a little, it's an anchor, if you will, stabilizer to keep that, to keep the snap part from coming through the fabric. All right, so I marked where my legs need to go through, or the little pieces, prongs need to go through. So I'm going to give it a little slit with my seam ripper, enough for the leg to get down in there. Just give it a little slit. All right, now I'm adding the female part in place. Okay. All right, it's difficult to get in there. I'll flip this over and see what's happening. There we go. All right, so I've got it down in there. I'm just going to put my anchor on there. Go ahead and secure it in place. I'm going to use my Alright, I've got it in there. Now I'm going to snap this in place. Now back to the stitching it all back together again. I say nothing to it but to do it. Once you realize your mistake, go ahead. No need of crying over spilt milk. Just get to it and get it done. What I do want to do though, make sure I get all my pieces back together the way they're supposed to be. I have to go back in here again. Alright, let's see what I did. Okay, now I gotta go back top stitching it. Just that little part and everything should be hunky-dory now except for that little piece, the little tab. I think for now I'll stick a piece of double-sided fusible in there. That's not my ideal situation. Or I could add a little glue there. So the little ends won't come undone. Alright. Here we go. Top stitch that back down. Make sure nothing's in the way. Should be good to go. And I chose to do a facing as opposed to sandwiching the lining on this one. Oh, yep, I caught something. Okay. Just trying to be great with this bag tonight. You better go because I don't want that to come undone. Make sure nothing's under there. There we go. All right. At least I'll be able to say that I got this bag done, got it finished. All right, so these snaps won't be so hard because these are actually going to be hand sewn. And I did get me a curved needle so that I can sew them in here. These are the best needles to use for this to get this in. That way I can actually see what I'm doing. So now I have to decide what's going to be back. I'll go back and tend to this. And I decide exactly how I want to close that back up. Definitely want to top stitch it back, but just want to make sure I may hand sew that back close and then top stitch it so that it won't come undone. Because if not, then it'll remain open like this, and I don't want it to remain open. All right, so far got the tab in place. Alright, so since this is the back, so I'm going to put the male part here and the female part to the back. Yeah, this will snap front to back just like that. Okay. So that's what I'll do. Yep, that's exactly what I'll do. All right. Don't need a big needle, just a small one. And hopefully the little eye is not too big. That looks pretty thick. I don't need it to be super thick. Let's try this one. Got my wax thread. I'm actually gonna knot this. I'm scared of this thing. I feel like it's gonna hook me. All right, so I got a feel for. There we go. You can't see the holes. You just kind of have to feel for 'em. And the next one. It's so awkward. We'll get to the other one. So hopefully the threads from me actually stitching it some won't be so visible. They're going to be on the sides. But I was hoping it just, I could have did just a smaller snap. Just a regular little snap, I guess. But we'll see how this works. Yeah, this is way awkward. Probably somebody who's used to doing this works better. Okay, now it's getting a little messy. All right. Can't hold it in my finger right. Okay. I think my threads are getting misaligned. There we go. There's got to be a better way to hold this thing. Because this just feels way awkward. All right, and I'm gonna take this one underneath. All right, for those of you watching, if you're just tuning in, I am finishing up a tote bag that I created for one of my Make 9 projects. One of my goals was to design my own tote bag. It's really kind of like a little hobo tote, if you will. So I'm adding the finishing touches like the snaps to it. Um, The snaps that I'm adding on the side are just the snaps to keep this side closed when I'm not using it. Everything else is done to the bag. That was just a personal preference of, well, actually, it's all a personal preference of mine. But I just wanted to be able to close the bag up a little bit um, when I'm not using it, and be able to open it when I am using it, give me a little bit more wiggle room. So I didn't see the snaps that I really wanted to use. I probably, no, I didn't want to use the flat metals because I didn't want to see all that metal. I really wanted them to be inconspicuous. So I ended up using these that I found in my stash, these covered snaps. I'm really not that fond of these either because they're a little thicker than I wanted. I really wanted something flat. Yeah, I may end up just taking these back off and using a smaller snap. Just a smaller um, flat metal snap. That's probably what's going to happen. Okay, now finding that other hole. There it is. Let's see how this works once I get this set in. Almost there with this one set. I'll tell you, this little curved needle is good, but it's awkward to work with. I can understand the reasoning behind it, but I could have used a straight needle just as easy, I believe, to get the job done. Can't find it. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I really don't know how I feel about this needle. I can get this last one in, and that'll be it. That'll be it for this side, actually. That's a lot. Let's get it in one more time. So make sure there's no chance of it coming out. Okay. All right, so here's the idea. It snaps on the side like that. Okay. So while I'm using it, use my stuffing again. All right, so here's the idea of it. That snaps while once I get in it, got everything that I want out of it or put in it. So while I'm carrying it, okay, that's what it'll look like from the side. Okay. All right, really like that. Okay, I think I'm glad I added a tab to it. One thing I thought about adding was feet, but it's not heavy enough. I mean, I guess I could have still added the feet to it, but um, I'd have to order those. Have to order the feet to the bag. Anyway, but this is what I envision. So all I have to do is the other side now. Just add those pieces in and fix this back, and then this is done. All right. Well, I'm gonna hop off. But for those of you that came in and watched, thank you for watching. And look for my next video.